Welcome, welcome. We have all been cordially invited into the bedroom. My name is Haloran. I will be your master of ceremonies for the evening, for the game. I have the distinct pleasure of casting East Coast Feeders going up against Bedroom Donkey. Bedroom Donkey is a team I get to cast quite a bit. I'm looking forward to casting them. This is my first time casting them for Season 3. East Coast Feeders, I believe, are a new team to me. So I'm excited to see them play. We're going to be on Infernal Shrines this time. Bedroom Donkey has elected to take us there. Let me go ahead and get the draft links out to these teams and we can get the show on the road. I'm really excited to see how this plays out. There is a huge patch that came out today. As most of us are likely aware. Introduced a new hero who will be potentially picked here. Cherry League rules say that new heroes can be used day one. But I mean, it's kind of cutting edge. Like you can do that, but do you really know the hero that way? Some heroes got buffed, some got nerfed. I'm wondering how that's going to affect the draft. The meta's kind of settled for a little while now, to where, you know, some of the mainstays are obvious. On a map like Infernal Shrines, I don't think that's going to change too much. Sylvanas is a beast. Zagara got a little bit nerfed across the board, but she can still do the job. Nidus Network is still an extremely powerful tool available to these teams. So I would imagine we would see her picked or banned at some point, but we are about to find out. Game on. East Coast Feeders are the home team, so they get first ban, first pick privileges. Again, Bedroom Donkey is elected to take us to Infernal Shrines. East Coast Feeders wasting no time banning out Zagara. They are not convinced that today's patch has knocked her down enough pegs to leave her on the board. Bedroom Donkey is going to go ahead and ban out Kerrigan. This is a hero that can be an absolute terror on this map. The ability to jump around and gather up the defenders, build up a shield, and effectively become a tank. And these tight corridors are really welcome to Kerrigan's combo. Two very smart bans, I feel. Great way to start the draft off. East Coast Feeders has the first hero to select for the game, and they do pick up Sylvanas. That is definitely going to hurry the timetable of Bedroom Donkey during the course of the game, and it's going to make the Punisher phase that much more important for both teams. If the East Coast Feeders are able to come away with the Punisher, Sylvanas' ability to lock down the structures could have huge implications. However, Bedroom Donkey is able to negate that, then a lot of the merits to that hero goes out the window. And Bedroom Donkey have taken two very strong heroes, a pair that synergizes quite well. If you haven't seen it for yourself, Ariel and Brightwing are the first two selections for Bedroom Donkey. The Tame and Strike is powerful. Brightwing offers global presence. These two heroes synergize and make it quite difficult for a team to take out any member, even a squishier member. On enemy team. Crystal Aegis mixed with Brightwing's passive healing, Blink Heal for a little bit of burst, and you can still go Emerald Wind too for added passive healing that really synergizes with Ariel's healing. Emerald Wind knocks people back, so you can Crystal Aegis, Emerald Wind everybody back, and then they're back. They're healed up again. You're like, oh. So it's going to make it really interesting and difficult for East Coast Feeders. They're going to have to lock in some bursts to really crack through that double support protection window. Jaina and ETC are the next two selections, two very strong heroes. Power Slide will give all the time in the world for Jaina to land her Blizzard combo. Ringer Frost also synergizes quite well with Mosh Pits, so the positioning is going to be really important for Bedroom Donkey, because it doesn't matter what composition you have. If you all get caught in the Mosh Pit, everybody goes home. So positioning is going to be really important. I like that East Coast Feeders has responded and said, like, all right, you guys have a very strong support setup. It's going to be very difficult to take you down, but we have tools of our own and things that you need to watch out for yourself. We're not exactly going to be helpless. So nicely done. Uther is going to be the ban. They do not want... Bedroom Donkey doesn't allow East Coast Feeders that define Mosh. They understand and respect the value that a Mosh Pit can bring to the table, making that invincible. Not the best time. East Coast Feeders understand the current meta. They're going to go ahead and ban out Cho. Ariel and Cho are heroes that work very well together. You pretty much are never without hope. You almost always have a constant hope bar if you have Ariel and Cho'Gall together. Cho and Gall's damage both stack towards her hope, if you didn't know. That's what the early Ariel pickup can do for a draft. It forces you into an interesting spot because it's like, do you see Ariel get picked up? You go in the second ban phase, it's like, well, Lunara's a hero that does really well with Ariel. Cho'Gall's a hero that does, like, they're going to get one of these really strong synergies. And East Coast feeders, I mean, they have a very strong hero for their first pick in Sylvanas, especially considering the map. So, like, you have to let something go through. So it's going to be Muradin and Sergeant Hammer, adding a lot more oomph to Bedroom Donkey's composition should they come away with the Punisher throughout the game. Her ability to siege up can be devastating to enemy structures, if you didn't know. It's a thing. She can also be quite the menace during the Shrine phase herself, if she is able to avoid being engaged with the power slide. Hammer can stand to do a ton of damage. A couple of heroes left yet for East Coast feeders. They need to pick up a support. Ariel and Brightwing off the table with the Uther ban. You're probably going to see a Rhaegar selection. And then the last one's going to be for flavor. I think East Coast feeders might be well served to go for another damage. Perhaps a bruiser. Li Ming is a hero that can work as well. Double mage. Okay. So they're gambling. They're gambling pretty hard. Li Ming, her cooldowns are pretty short. Jaina's are long. Orb combo with Jaina's burst should be enough to delete any hero in almost any situation. But if that misses, the orb cooldown is a bit. The Blizzard, Frost Cone cooldowns can be a bit too. So if they don't get that home run hit, they're going to find themselves at a severe disadvantage because they're just not going to have the auto attack damage to really follow up. So they must have a lot of confidence in their ability to close out these team fights by just taking someone off the board right out of the gate. Bedroom Donkey has to see this. They see the double mage setup, and they're like, okay, well, the name of our game is to survive that amount of that initial burst. If we can get through that, our passive healing from Brightwing, our burst AoE healing from Ariel should sustain us through, and then we can just kind of, win that game of attrition. They have 45 seconds before they decide how they want to try to best counter out this combination. If if Bitme was playing tonight, I'm sure he'd be like, Medivh? But not meant to be. I mean, they still could go Medivh. That would be a very interesting hero. It would give Sergeant Hammer a ton of mobility in siege mode, which is very annoying to deal with. And Force of Will is actually really strong against East Coast feeders composition because they are so ability damage focused. You land the Force of Will at the right time through Blizzard and Li Ming's orb. East Coast feeders are swinging a wet noodle. But they are going to go double specialist. They're going to round out their composition with Zul. It's a really strong response to the Sylvanas pickup, I feel. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this plays out. I think both teams came away with two strong drafts. In my opinion, it's going to come down to East Coast feeders' ability to land that initial burst with Jaina and Li Ming. If they're, yeah, I thought you would feel that way. I thought you would feel that way, Bitme. Answering a quick admin question for a fellow caster. Glad I could help. All right. We're about to find out, though. Like I said, from a raw composition standpoint, I do like Bedroom Donkey's composition more overall. Zul brings a lot of wave clear to the table. East Coast Feeders has that as well, but they have to use some pretty heavy cooldowns to try to keep up with what Zul almost by themselves is going to bring. So if they're caught in rotation, they might be without their main damage tools to win some of these early team fights, to win, to stave off some ganks and stuff like that. So they're going to have to really play their composition to its maximum potential, or else East Coast Feeders could find themselves falling pretty far behind. But we'll see. We are loaded into the game now. Make sure I got the Cherry League ticker and whatnot. Looks good, looks good. Okay. I wanted to see Chromie from Feeders. Wasn't meant to be. Over on the left side, we do have the East Coast Feeders. Ruse playing Li Ming. Teehee Tyler is on Rhaegar. Josh is playing Jaina. Zango's on ETC. And Titch is playing Sylvanas. And the members of Bedroom Donkey invite you into the bedroom. You're going to have Ullr on Myrden. Hyzanthalade on Brightwing. Stropho on Ario. Yedwang Hat is on Sergeant Hammer. And Zul being played by Silver Raven. Cool. Good luck, have fun. Heart Haloran. Hey! Oh, that's nice. Thanks, guys. We have a 2-2-1 setup. Zul down in the bot lane. We'll be able to clear out those waves rather quickly. Bedroom Donkey are not looking to scrap level 1, and seemingly neither are East Coast Feeders. They've committed Sylvanas to the top lane. You're going to see Jaina rotate up towards mid. Yedwang sets up shop in the tank. Blizzard goes down, just kind of forcing them back. They are able to move for it. It does too much damage. Yedwang moves forward with Stropho, who has a good amount of hope thanks to this Burger King crown on Sergeant Hammer. So if it's the fan, they have some responses. Up in the top lane, Brightwing and Murder going to apply pressure to Titch, really negating Sylvanas' wave clearing ability to go across the map. Ullr smacks Titch in the back of the face with a perfect storm. I think that's what they're coming for. Oh, third win. Murder has undergone some changes, so you're going to see some different talents for that. A little bit of poke on Silver Raven. Hyzanthalade is here. Looking at talents, you got Hyper Shift, Increasing Clarity, Regen Master, and Shade. Astral Presence for the Sustain, Colossal Totem, Deep Chill, Rolling Like a Stone, and Paralysis. Both of these teams kind of poking at each other, making sure nobody's missing out on any soap. More or less biding their time. They don't want to overextend, make some grand gesture, and end up paying for it in the end. We do have a heavy commitment, though, in the mid lane. Power Slide from Zango goes out, locks down 2 members of Bedroom Donkey. Yedwang is able to hit those rocket boosters and knock back the members of East Coast Feeders to get away. But they were able to get the well tap out of Sergeant Hammer. If Sergeant Hammer needs to go back again, they'll have to hit the well, and that's a lot of the long-range potential that will not be there for Bedroom Donkey. A small but perhaps significant victory down the road. We shall see. Hyzanthalade on Brightwing teleports in. All 5 members of Bedroom Donkey are here, as are East Coast Feeders, who have a pretty nice lead so far. Power Slide goes out. Target is Yedwang Hat. Actually shoves him back into the tower range for 1 shot. A bunch of damage goes out. And welcome to the bedroom. You're going to see the first takedown in the game. ETC gambling on the engage, knocked in the tower range, and the focus fire is there. Bone Prison was a nice follow-up as well. It's going to catapult them back into this Shrine phase. Ullr eating a bunch of damage is going to be able to get healed up. And this is where you start to see some of the value out of this double support composition. Ullr does need to hang around Brightwing to get the full extent of that, however. Edorf tosses back, understands that. A little more healing from Stropho. 23-17. Anybody's game. ETC is already back to business with full health and mana. The members of Bedroom Donkey are considerably low. You're going to see the power slide go in. Stropho doing everything they can, but Murden's going to go down. You're going to see Brightwing as well. And the passive healing has not yet come online for the members of Bedroom Donkey. These early death timers allowed ETC to come back and act as a strong tank. They respond back. They stand to get this first Punisher of the game. Looks like it's going to be a Frozen Punisher. And they're up a full level in experience. So right now, East Coast Feeders are looking pretty good. It takes a little bit for this double support synergy to really come online, and it also takes key positioning from your teammates to maximize and capitalize on the AoE healing from Ariel, as well as the passive healing from Brightwing. If they work on that, they will see some bigger gains, I can assure you that. As Titch is locking down the top line of Fort Towers, but the members of Bedroom Donkey are able to burn that down really quick, in large part thanks to the Sergeant Hammer pickup. So even with Sylvanas, that ends up being a standard amount of value had. So the brunt of the storm has been more or less withstood by the members of Bedroom Donkey, but they are behind in experience. There's going to be a window where level 7 is here, and it is now. You're going to see the power slide. Yedwang Hot getting some damage put on him. Tammin Strike is going to be able to lock down Zango to secure his escape. Down in the bot lane, you're going to have Silver Raven going up against Rue. Teleport is not going to help him this time. They get a good amount of damage thanks to the follow-up Scythe action. This is an interesting 1v1. Looking at the talents, you're going to see the increased mana. I would imagine we would see the health return at 7 as well, giving Zul a lot of sustain that could have a huge factor in the future Shrine phases. Or build for Li Ming, Feral Heart, and Blood and Thunder. So no cleanse. No cleanse on the side of Beast Coast Feeders. Frost Shards, Frostbitten, Loudspeakers. A full displacement build for ETC. And now level 7 is here. Strofo goes for a repeated offense after taking a good amount of time thinking about their level 4 talent. They do lock that in. They're all going to go for Empathic Link. If Strofo is able to put those the Burger King crown on the right person at the right time, that's a good amount of hope to be had. In the top lane, you do have Ullr and Hyzintolate continuing to try to apply pressure and really limit the value you had out of the Sylvanas pickup. First camp of the game is seized by East Coast Feeders in the bottom left corner. Gonna start applying some pressure to the mid lane, but with this next Shrine phase here, doesn't stand to see too much value. Still a full level lead for the members of East Coast Feeders. They've done a really good job in continuing to soak the lanes, even if they haven't ventured too far across to the other side of the map. There is a window for a Bedroom Donkey to take this fight on even talent tiers. If this becomes a prolonged affair, Heroics could come online for the members of East Coast Feeders, and then that would be a whole thing. Shrine is activated, a small lead going over to the East Coast Feeders. Although Dwarf tosses in, avoids the magic missiles. Orbs find its way home. This is where Brightwing starts to shine. Everybody's in proximity. You're going to see the engage power slide, ETC getting value. That initial power slide is playing complete havoc with Bedroom Donkey, is really allowing a lot of his damage to go in there. And Hyzintolate almost goes down with 107 health. Another orb comes flying in. The orb talent from Li Ming. Look at this flank. East Coast Feeders coming in, applying a bunch of pressure. The Q just misses Brightwing. That could have been the first takedown of this team fight. Muradin jumps into the air, explodes. That's going to be the 5th takedown for East Coast Feeders. Zango just trying to position themselves, serving themselves as a threat. Power slide is a thing. Jaina and Li Ming are proving to be quite a challenge. Dynamics stand to shift a little once Heroics are picked up for Bedroom Donkey, but for right now, it's a pretty big advantage in favor of East Coast Feeders. They do have their Heroics, and have Disintegrate, Ancestral Healing. A stun goes out on Ariel. Strofo caught forward, eats the stun from the Punisher, and the follow-up damage is there. That could definitely have this whole situation snowball. This middle fort's in jeopardy, especially with this Heroic tier disadvantage. Ring of Frost, Mosh Pit, Wailing Arrow, standard choices. Power Slide goes out. Polymorph does interrupt the Mosh Pit. That's for 2 full minutes, but the Wailing Arrow follow-up is going to net 2 kills on Muradin and Zul. And the Sylvanas pickup is really starting to make itself apparent for East Coast Feeders. You're going to see everyone forced back by the Blizzard. Jaina continuing to zone out on that front. Punisher still at 40% health. This bad boy is still going, looking for more work. The power slide just misses the members of Bedroom Donkey. Yedwang Hot setting up shop behind the keep, but this keep is now locked down as well. They need to apply pressure to Sylvanas and really discourage her from locking down these structures, or else they're going to look at the keep going down. Ariel drops. You're going to see the keep drop as well. 8.5 minutes in, it's going to be catapults for the rest of the game. And we're on the cusp of a 2-tier advantage for East Coast Feeders. Level 10 is around the corner for Bedroom Donkey, but the next engagement should still be down to talent tier, because as they hit level 10, 13 is not far off at all for the members of East Coast Feeders. They should have that momentarily. Silver Raven rotates up to the top to apply some pressure here. Get this soak, trying to get some kind of momentum developed for their team. They just have to focus. They have to really set up shop, pick and choose their battles correctly. Watch for the flanks. Because Jaina on the side of East Coast Feeders has done a really good job rotating around. Like here, they rotated around and got to the back line of Bedroom Donkey. That's the perils of having a solo warrior. If you don't have that secondary peel person, the positioning can be really crucial. This unorthodox build or composition from East Coast Feeders is doing some work. I was concerned with the ability for East Coast Feeders to make the most of Blizzard and Orb, but it's been working out for them. Crystal Age is going to save one member of Bedroom Donkey, but only for a moment. You're going to see Merton and Sergeant Hammer go down. ETC is just setting up so many opportunities for this follow-up damage. The Power Slide is almost always hitting at least 2 members of Bedroom Donkey, and then by the time they're out of it, there's an Orb, there's Blizzard. It's a good amount of damage. And as Sylvanas is continuing to get value locking down the structure, they're going to be able to pick up this fort without sacrificing too much at all. And that's just going to set up this Punisher. The next Punisher will be here in 10 seconds. Looking at the level 13 town, you got Windrunner, so Sylvanas can have a lot more mobility. You're going to have Face Melt, Storm Front, Tidal Waves, and Glass Cannon. So Li Ming's definitely going to look to put an exclamation point on this. Power Slide goes out. Silver Raven out front on Zul. Going to make themselves a target. They're being chased down, and the Feral Lunge is going to secure that, turning us into a 4v5 down in talent tier. The members of Bedroom Donkey are in an unfortunate position right now. They are more or less going to have to concede this next shrine, which will start to apply pressure to this bottom keep, and Sylvanas has been able to get value on that front all game. Zul will be up now, so they will be able to fight as 5. I think it's a race for 13. They're going to try to establish some kind of pressure here, investing in the future of the game by picking up this Bruiser Camp. They're going to need to clear this out really quick, though, if they want to try to get back to mount a defense for that Bruiser Camp to net any value. The Bruiser Camp makes its way over to the fort, and your core goes down, and it's not going to really do too much for you. So we'll see if they're able to do that. They do clear out the Bruiser Camp Hearth back. Silver Raven and Strofo are here. Bait the Punisher over the wall. Gonna give them a small window to try to burn this bad boy down before the keep starts to get locked down. Level 13 is still not here. This is a 2-tier disadvantage fight. Power Slide goes in. Mosh Pit is available. Zul is the first to fall. Merton is the next to drop as well. This overwhelming burst damage is just a lot to deal with. Before anyone can even respond, you're just seeing heroes getting taken out. The Mosh Pit goes in. Not going to be able to get interrupted this time. 2 members locked in, and that's going to be the ace. And that's going to be the game. Core is going to fall. 13-16. That's going to be GG. Wow. Well played by East Coast Feeders. Well played by Bedroom Donkey. Going into the draft, I was like, well, if Jaina and Li Ming can do enough damage with their abilities to secure kills or at least force a defensive posture out of Bedroom Donkey, they could really look to take some of these team fights. And that's what happened. That is what panned out. Zango on ETC was really enabling that setup. The Power Slide, like I said, was always hitting at least 2 people. In those tight corridors during the shrine phases, it's almost impossible for it to be anything but. Looking at the talents, Bedroom Donkey did have Cleanse on Brightwing. Yeah, I mean, East Coast Feeders just played that really well. It's not too often you see a double mage setup net that kind of an impact. But they were able to pull it off. They looked strong throughout the game. Bedroom Donkey had a really good team fight in the top lane over the first Punisher phase. They were able to get the kill on ETC. Power slid in. They got him out of position, took him down. And they were just kind of low by the time ETC came back. I think if they just hit the well and kind of looked at that as more of a stabilizing thing than like we've won the Punisher phase, they would have been in a much better position to respond when ETC came back. But it was a mix of the ETC setup and the burst damage from East Coast Feeders. When you look at the composition of Bedroom Donkey, one thing that they are missing in this composition is burst damage. Effectively, Zool and Sergeant Hammer were their damage dealers. That's where the bread and butter was supposed to be. And those are not the heroes that really lend themselves to burst damage. They can kick out numbers, but not in the amount of time that Li Ming and Jaina both are going to be able to do. So they never really were able to apply that kind of pressure. So yeah, Ariel and Brightwing have a ton of sustain over a period of time, and it was just like the ratio of support to damage allowed Rhaegar to have enough sustain for his team to weather that storm from Sergeant Hammer and Zool, whereas you could have 8 supports, and if Jaina and Li Ming land those orbs on you and there's a power side to stop you from doing what you're doing, and Sylvanas is about, the same amount of damage as a Sergeant Hammer or Zool, like it doesn't matter how much sustain you have, really. That's just a lot of burst to deal with. And by the time Crystal Aegis came online, it was just like, it was not only burst damage, but it was AoE burst damage. So one person was getting Crystal Aegis, and then the other person was just out there. So I think that if Bedroom Donkey took a sharper damage dealer in either Zool or Sergeant Hammer, Sergeant Hammer was a Vala or a Greymane or something like that, that like got the most value out of having double support, I think they would have done better. Yeah. But that was the only game I had to cast tonight. It was a ton of fun. Thank you for the opportunity to cast, you guys. That's a game in the record books. So I'm going to go ahead and update the Chair League site. Hey, Diffrey, how's it going? And yeah. People. What happened? But yeah, that's going to be it for me. My name again is Lauren. Thanks for hanging out. If you guys enjoyed the cast. Hope you had as much fun as I did. As I always do when I get the cast. So I think I'm going to stream for a little while afterwards. So played 6 games, 1-5. Some of the cards. 5. Ouch. Yeah, I haven't jumped into Hero League yet. I'm wary. But I'm gonna stream for a little bit. I think I'm gonna turn the stream off, let this end, and become a VOD and stuff, and turn the delay off. And then I haven't decided if I want to play Dead by Daylight or Heroes of the Storm just yet. I don't know. Yeah, I only had the one game to cast. I am going to stream something. Hey, Flow Mage, how's it going, man? I just haven't decided if it's going to be Heroes or Dead by Daylight. Let me stop the video now, and I'll come back. Yeah, sure, Bitme, no problem. You're welcome. No problem. I'll be right back.